This is a Big Facts Network exclusive.
Yo, peace, what's up? You know what it is. It's time for that Big Energy Room. We broadcasting coming to you live from Lucid F Club in the ATL. This young lady right here,
Big Kayla.
Big Kayla, DJ Screen, the Big Energy Room. And we know that everybody's probably wondering what's going on here.
Right.
They've seen us in other likes and other productions and stuff like that. So I will give you the pleasure of explaining to everybody the premise behind the Big Energy Room.
So we just wanted to create a safe space for a safe conversation, just regarding, big energy, which is just love, man. Self-love, progressing, like just having a light to be able to have conversations about difficult moments and kind of bring the big energy to them. As we're progressing and going through life, sometimes we feel more alone, more confined to ourselves. And so we just want to provide the opportunity for people to be able to come in, have conversations, listen to our conversations, our progression, and just get good advice.
So in that, this is also going to be our safe space.
Come on.
So be prepared to probably see her or me in an element or a space that you haven't seen us before. You know what I'm saying? Very open, very candid, but also that allows us to use, like you say, like our life experiences to let other people know that regardless of if you see us on a screen or social media or whatever the case is, then we go through a lot of the same stuff that everybody goes through because we're all flesh and human and spirit first before we're the characters that we become. So where do you want to start?
I want to start in like, what is big energy mean to you personally in your life?
So big energy for me, it's like big energy, high frequency vibrations, anything that brings you closer to that place that I feel like you should be most of the time. You're not going to be there all of the time, but that place that you're going to be, you should be most of the time. That's just kind of something that by nature just happens. Like people say we finna go up. They don't say we finna go down.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? People say rise to the occasion. They don't say fall to the occasion. You understand what I'm saying? So it's something about up, high, big. Frequency. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something about that just, I don't want to use the word as better, but it's maybe more powerful. I think bigger. That's what it is. So the Big Energy Room, I feel like just encompasses that. Like you say, a safe space for us to speak with other people about just high frequency topics, or trying to get to the high frequency. Because again, I want to make sure that y'all know that it is human, and that sometimes you're just not resonating on the high frequency. Sometimes you're resonating on a very low frequency. It could be the people around you, it could be the situations around you. It could just be you. Sometimes I wake up very low frequency. So very low frequency thoughts and everything. And I try my hardest to either combat it, pray through it, meditate through it, exercise through it. Sunlight is very big energy, high frequency. You dig what I'm saying? But reality is reality. We go through stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want everybody to think I got it all figured out, because I don't. I'm still figuring it out.
I concur. Okay. I think sometimes too, like when people see you in a big light, they don't really understand or resonate with those moments where you feel small. So another thing too about what I love what we're doing in the conversation is like just being able to teach people that thought of rising to the occasion. It's okay to sit in things. It's all right, but we're not gonna stand still for very long. You know what I mean? We're not absent of the ability to be able to rise up after we've fallen or after we're sitting still. And so I think that's the empowering part about it. Like, even you go through it. And I think that's what some people need to see sometimes. When you are in the light, they're like, man, Scream just got it together, boy. He's just always happy. But it's empowering to be able to see people when they view you in that light and then know, like, you know what? He experiences some of the same things that I'm going through. Or, Kayla, like, she's experiencing some of the same things that I experience and still able to bring this light to the world. So that's really what we're doing, y'all, is just bringing the light to the world.
What would you say is and obviously we've had many conversations, but what would you say is like one defining moment on your life path and your journey where you felt like you had to fight to get back to that big energy?
Who becoming a mother?
Mm.
Becoming a mother. I think, coming from a single mother, and then kind of going through the relationship split up, even with my daughter's father and my son's father. Like, I had to overcome my inner thoughts that I failed, and that I had done something wrong, or that I couldn't be adequate in motherhood because of that failed relationship. And so that was like a long journey. To be honest, my daughter just turned 9, and I'm just resonating within this last 6 months to a year with myself in a different manner, to allow me to just embrace like motherhood, fatherhood, parenthood, whatever it is, all over the top. Like, it's not a one-way path, and really a lot of it comes down to the love. It's literally just the love that makes you a good parent. And the more that I see that, and the more that I see that me being able to get up every day and just try is being a great mother. And so I've approached myself differently in that, because it's one of my proudest things that I am in this world, is being a mom. And so for a while I applied so much pressure to it, because I'm like, you got to perfect this, you got to perfect this. And then I realized that there's no perfect path. As with anything in life, it's not a perfect path.
And I can't tell you what it's like to be a mother,
Yeah.
a father, but I gotta definitely take a moment just to pay homage and flowers to all the mothers. Seeing my wife, and to be honest, not even know my wife had this in me. I mean, you're talking about there's no definitive sleep schedule. That disappears once you're a mother. There's really no days off. So I mean, let's say I'm traveling or working and trying to help provide or whatever the case is. Then let's say you get the sniffles, or let's say you're going through that time of the month, or whatever the case is. You still gotta be a mama.
Still gotta be a
You
mama.
gotta be there for every request. You gotta be there for every cry. You have to be there.
Yeah.
So there's really no time off. I mean, you'll get some breaks if the father's involved, or the grandparents, or whatever the case is, and other family members, but it's a full time. When the baby comes out of the mother, it starts really before then. But when the baby comes out of the mother, now you understand the real term locked in. We always say we're locked in. Yeah, but we locked in with, like, we got options to lock ourselves out,
It's
or
different.
decide not to. Nah,
Yeah.
you locked in
Yeah.
for 18 plus.
Yeah.
And you halfway there with the
Yeah.
first kid.
Yeah.
Halfway there.
We halfway there.
And then they let you know too. That's the thing. Like, um, kids are the biggest energy, because they don't have a filter of, like, they don't understand politics.
It's pure.
Yeah, it's pure. I'm gonna tell you what it is. Mommy, you messing up.
Yeah.
Mommy, this don't taste good.
Yeah.
Mommy, you need to get up. Mommy, wake up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just kind of what it is. So, like, kids, I think, represent like you say, the purest energy. Like, they gonna tell you what it is out top. So listen, I salute all the mothers.
Absolutely.
I salute you.
Thank you.
Shy behind the boards. I've seen Shy literally put a cape on and fly through the sky. Literally, I've seen
Be
her
like on
"Yo,
set, everything
I'm
else,
saying?
man. You be like, man,
Shy
you
makes the unthinkable
gets
happen.
it done. Okay.
My wife, she makes the unthinkable. I don't even understand. I still don't get it. I'm like, who are
Yeah.
you? It's like a whole nother person when you step into motherhood. So I can imagine that. Something that I've read and kind of been aware of. We didn't have to go through it so much, but me and you spoke about postpartum.
Yeah.
And what that looks like. And I guess in my head, I'm thinking like postpartum is like, if you had a cold, a few days, but it could be a few months, it could be a few years. Like, I didn't understand how deep that was. Like, and having to push through and still go each and every day while you're going through postpartum, which can be in conjunction with other things.
Yeah.
It's deep. So I salute y'all mothers. But
Facts.
God don't put nothing on you can't handle.
Come on now. We got to give you a salute as well, though, because that type of awareness is so substantial in a woman's life, especially in motherhood. Just to be able to be acknowledged goes a long way. Having the understanding, like, I know we've had many conversations where it's like, you just get that other side, and I know that makes you a better supporter, not only to your wife, but to the women in your life. And I want you to know, from a fatherhood perspective, I know sometimes it can get overwhelming to be a protector, to be a provider, you know what I mean? To feel
Hear
like
that,
I know
Teasy?
to take it from an emotional perspective, you know, like women we're afforded more of the opportunity to be emotional. And that's another thing we want to bring with the big energy room. It's
Man, I
just
gotta
like,
tuck it. Right? That's what we.
yeah. But the beauty of it is that you can be aware of our emotions and things and still hold on to your own. So I commend you for that strength because that's a lot too. You carry it. You carry. We might put the cape on, but you might have bought it. Come
That's a
on,
quote. That's a bar. That's a bar.
man. I just think it's so important, and I've realized even too, like with having my pops come down and kind of like help the balance out the home and everything, like another thing to be mindful of in this parenting thing is also remember, like, sometimes we may desire for it to look a certain way. Me as a single mom, I definitely looked to it for it to be like mom, dad, 2-parent household. If it's anything beside that, it's failing. It's not the case. Sometimes God, like you said, God won't give you anything that you can't handle.
Facts.
And so sometimes we just have to be open to receive it. And as long as you're open to receive it, it will be given. And so for me, I learned that even watching my kids with my mother at times, or watching them with, their uncles or grandfathers or anything of that nature, where they get that masculine and that, not saying that their dads aren't there, but it's a balance. It's a balance, and it truly does take a village to raise a child. Ooh, it takes a village, and I'm so grateful for mine.
Defining moments of. So you would say motherhood,
Yeah,
and you're a mother of, so everybody will know,
2 children.
2 children. Um, and what was the moment when you say you were able to transition and kind of get back on track per se? You know what I'm saying? Because now you're dealing with a whole new life.
Yeah.
Now you're dealing with a whole new circumstances, and you're going through what you're going through. But what was the moment that kind of helped you to rise above?
To be honest, seeing the balance with my children and seeing the quality of the life that they have in moments, it can be the smallest things. Sometimes it's just watching them sleep peacefully, knowing that you're safe, you're protected. Even having conversations and listening to my 9-year-old, like, I find that it's like, wow, your perspective is so limited from struggle. And to be honest, I had a very awakening conversation with my pops yesterday about that, because sometimes kids, when they don't know struggle, they begin to have a perspective that's like, oh, this is mine, especially when you've been an only child for a while. And see, me, I was the oldest of 6 younger brothers and sisters, and so dealing in that capacity, me and my daughter have a different perspective, from financial status to just even the responsibility status. Like, she's got one, and that affords me the opportunity to be able to be more present. Whereas in my home life situation, when you're the oldest and there's a whole lot of us, you got to kind of kick in a little bit more. So I realized yesterday that, I had taken her to the altar for her birthday. She had a yes day. TikTok, okay? TikTok, stop giving these kids ideas, because I couldn't say no.
You said, hold on, a yes day?
It's called a yes day, y'all. Where
What's
it's
a
like,
yes day?
it's like you
I
can't
don't
say
wanna hear
no.
it. What if I don't know? Maybe I can't.
No, it's coming. It's coming, because I'm telling you, it was such a great experience, though. Yes.
It's a what?
Yes.
Why don't you just do it on the birthday?
That's what we did. It was
Oh,
for
it's for
her
her
birthday.
birthday.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we went to Ulta and Sephora. Those were her 2 things she wanted to do. And so first, it was an entire yes day, where it's like, wherever I say we want to go, whatever I say we want to do, whatever,
Like,
you have to say yes.
Balling, you in shop, balling.
Listen, but I had to create a boundary. Like,
Right.
okay, we just gonna go in 2 stores. You
Right.
pick, and I'm gonna say yes. You can do your thing.
But I think even then, like, I imagine just because a kid gets it, like, she didn't go too crazy.
No, that was the beautiful thing. And so even being in a capacity to be able to say yes was empowering. It was validating. To be honest, the entire weekend was validating, because number one, I took myself out of, because sometimes as a parent, we think that what we imagine for our children or that we wanted to do as a kid was the right way. And so what I learned and humble in my heart was like, you know what? Let me just ask you what you actually want to do. Let me not create a stigma of what a good birthday looks like to you. You tell me, and I'm going to listen more. And so she told me, she was like, I want to go to Ulta. I want to go do like a skincare day. So I took her to go get a facial, and like to see the satisfaction of not only her feeling like she was listened to and I delivered, but also the ability to just do it in a space where it was just me and her was kind of a cool interaction as well, you know? Like, I just listened to her talk and vibe out the entire day. And so for me, going back to like those defining moments, to be honest, that was a huge defining moment for me this weekend, just watching her joy. Like, she was just so content with everything that was being done. Like, she said she wanted to go to Juicy Crab, Ulta, Sephora, get her facial done, and that's what we did. And I didn't have to be overzealous. I didn't have to go buy her a whole bunch of things that I think she wants or that are trending. Like, it was tailored and personalized to what she desired. And so for me, that was pretty cool because it was like validating as a mom, like, wow, you can do that. And you made that happen. And shout out to my village as well because they contributed. And so she was able to then see how other people showed up. Right? People were sending her packages with her name on it. You know, just the little things. Sometimes it's the little things that are big things. And that's what I learned this weekend too. Like, sometimes you think like me. I kept telling her at first. I'll be honest. I was like, what trip you want to go on? You know, where do you want to go to? She said China. I'm like, okay, hold on.
Not yes to that.
Not hello. I don't know about that being. That's a maybe day. That's a maybe day. But then I realized it was like she was just trying to come up with something that wasn't actually what she really wanted to do. And so it made me kind of slow down too. Like, I don't got to take you on a trip just because that's what I see on social media and everything else. Or, you know, like, it's not no pressure. Your pressure was in the things you wanted to do. And when you did them, you were 100% satisfied. And that in of itself is a win as any parent. Like, your joy is my win.
So to the women out there, from the day, okay, you're pregnant. I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
The woman says I'm pregnant. From that day, and of course you can't give them like lifelong advice, but from that day, and let's add 3 years on to that day.
Yeah.
What advice would you give a woman that's at home that maybe today just found out she got it, she took the test, I'm pregnant, I'm having it. What advice would you give that woman? Whether she's involved or not involved, whatever the case is, she's decided she's going to bring life into this world.
Number one thing is you're built for this.
Okay.
Literally.
That's true.
Your anatomy, the way that you're built for this. If God blessed you with a child, either after losing one or maybe this is your first go around and you didn't see it coming, like, you're built for this. Once I resonated with that idea, it kind of gave me strength. And so I hope it does the same for you all.
I like that.
Another thing is there is no one-way street. So there's no perfect path. It doesn't matter who your mother was. It doesn't matter who you are or what season of life you're in. Just look at it as an approach to, like we said, take you higher. You will, over time, even if it's you taking baby steps, even if you're taking large steps, you will see a better version of you in being the mother that you become. And don't expect to have it all figured out in the beginning, you know, especially if you're a first-time mom. Sometimes, even though every child is different. Like, I became a better mom with each of my children, and because I had to cater to them in different ways. And so they're individuals. And so there's an individual approach to every child. That's why I say it's not one-way street. Every child you're going to have to deal through differently, support them emotionally differently, physically. They're going to be entertained by different things, and that's going to make you expand your horizons. And so that's why I say just in all things, trust the process in your motherhood. Trust the process. If you're feeling like you're down and out, you don't have support, once again, go back to that thought, like, you're built for this. However it's going to come, just trust the process. Understand that them prayers, they're being heard. You can't control the timing, but understand the end goal. You're going to get there.
Where can a woman find themselves, like, grabbing support from?
Honestly, from women, like, that's been my thing lately.
I will say that. Women talk to other women. Women they can
talk
bond
to
on
other
a level
women.
that,
Yes, like, I have gotten so much feminine support lately, and it's done so much for me as a woman, as a mother, you know, just hearing other women tell their stories about how they're moms. Because even some moms, like, it's the same thing with anything we do. You get on social media and you're like, man, this person really got it in the
They
bag.
glamour it.
Their kids are in Turkey right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Living lavish.
Yeah.
They in Paris next to the Eiffel Tower, and the baby ain't nothing but 2 years old.
Diapers.
Come on now.
They talk
Come
about
on now.
the real deal.
The premise of the struggle that and the insecurity that sometimes comes with, and I'm not gonna just tailor it to just mothers, but fathers as well. Like it happens to everybody. It's just different levels as with anything, and so never be absent of that understanding. You know what I mean? Like everybody's got something to figure out. Everybody's got something to figure out.
Once again, salute to all the mothers out there. You know what I'm saying? Salute to all the fathers out there.
Come on now.
It's definitely a different. I kind of, for me. So my process was like, all right. First off, in my mind, I had already envisioned, like, I'm gonna have a little boy.
Yeah.
Right. So that was envisioned, and she was like, you know, you're gonna have a little girl, right? I was like, you just a hater, right? That's what I'm saying. You just a hater, right? But and I just told you, actually, it's crazy. Before the mic start rolling, I don't dream.
Yeah.
But then I start having dreams about a little girl running around in the living room. This is like COVID, 2020. So I sat down and I kind of, in my meditation time, I was like, oh man, I'm finna have a little girl, right?
Yeah.
So then she was kind of like on me, like, why aren't you more excited about the gender reveal? Because I done figured out what's going on.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not excited. It's like I figured out what's going on. Like I'm not gonna be all surprised because I feel that it's a girl.
Yeah.
This is my first time going through that. I'm kind of thinking like you make a kid and you manifest the kid.
This is what it's
Let me
gonna
have
be.
the boy first, then I'll have the girl. And then, no, that ain't how it go.
Yeah.
So here I am, me, with a daughter on the way, right? So you got to think about for the people that know me, the massive mental, spiritual, and everything adjustment having a daughter on the way, right? Yes. And people making their comments about it's gonna soften you up, and you're gonna do this, and somebody's gonna have you wrapped around their finger, and this and that and that. I'm just kind of like, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then when you sit in that hospital, and the baby comes out, and you put the baby in your hands, like it's literally like. It's so spiritual because it's like a new life for me. My life has completely started over. Everything I've done, everything I've accomplished, all of that, my life starts again today.
Yeah.
With this little beautiful being that me and my wife have created. You know what I'm saying? And it progressively with the wrapped around the finger thing, like I'm thinking I got time for that too. No, it starts at like 2 months old. It's like the reaching and pointing at the milk, and it's just like it's crazy, but it's the biggest blessing. We know that, but I'll say to anybody like bringing life into this world, like I just wish everybody could just kind of get. Sometimes you can't because of circumstances, but I wish everybody would kind of just get some time to sit back and
embrace
it and think about it. The only reason I had time to think more and be a little more in tune was because this was happening, like I said, 2020 during COVID. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
The old maniac me that never took a minute to think or breathe and just go, probably wouldn't have approached it that way. So I just say like receive having that kid or kids, whatever the case is, as a blessing. But when you start to think about the whole process, like a human being is being brought into this world.
Yeah.
Human being is actually it's inside of a woman growing, right? You feel the human being kicking like, let me out of here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then you go through the process. And then even now, my daughter being 3 years old, like, there's a personality. And then, like, it's hard for me to get on her about her personality because her personality is a reflection of my personality. So I'm like, stop doing that thing that I do.
Isn't it like a different, and I'm sure you can speak to that, it's like a different form of accountability.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. My daughter's so stubborn. And my wife be like, well, you got to deal with that because that's your part of it. The emotions and stuff, okay, I'll deal with it because that's me. But the stubborn, y'all go figure it out.
Yes.
And I'm just sitting there like, Mara, why you have to be like, why you have to? Because it's in my genetics.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This is why I have to be like that. So yeah, it's the real gut check. It's the real chin check for real.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful, man. And again, salute to all the mothers and fathers, and then salute to all the village, because I don't think we give enough props to the village. So that's the
Yes.
grandmas, the aunties, the sisters, the
The
cousins,
friends, the
the friends.
godmoms.
Yeah,
Listen,
salute to the
everybody
village.
who pours into your child,
Yeah.
they indefinitely hold a special place in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Cause
Mm-hmm.
it's like watching my child, even with mine, and for instance, mine and my mother's relationship. Like watching my mom with my daughter has done so much for our relationship. Watching my pops with my children has done so much for our relationship because it's like a different level of appreciation. Like, well, if I had to say, like, having a child was the closest I ever felt to God.
Mm.
It was the closest I ever felt to God because I created life,
Mm.
you know? And so that is just something like words really can't put, like, you can't put it in perspective if you haven't done it. But I'm going to try my best to describe it. Like, you want to protect this thing, you see past for this thing. Like you said, like, for my daughter and my, like, I dreamt about them, like I manifested them, you know. And so seeing it come into fruition is like, it's like a different type of power,
Mm.
you know, that we oftentimes, like, God has a plan for our life,
Mm-hmm.
and we walk the walk and we trust the path. And with our children, it's like you're trusting God in a different way with something that you created,
I like
and
that.
it's even more precious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of times, you know, as parents, we take ourselves out of it easy. It's easy to take yourself out of it, but with your kids, when it comes to them kids, okay? Don't play by my kids. And so knowing that, you know, and having that, like, anybody who you're able to trust with your children,
Yeah.
for me, it's like it's always love.
Yeah.
It's
You're
always
right.
love. No matter what you do, like, I'm more drawn to forgive people I've been able to trust with my children, because it's like you carry the most precious thing in my life.
Yeah.
You know, you carried them with respect, you carried them with protection, like you carried them as I would. And for that, you know, it's all love.
You know, I'm gonna be just completely honest. Like, everybody knows by now. Like, I have a therapist. I do therapy like
Yeah.
every couple of weeks or whatever. I generally take my session and kind of divide it into like segments.
Yeah.
But one day I had to just have a full session about fatherhood, parenthood, right? And the session entailed, like, people make the jokes about prom night and having a teenager and all that stuff, which will come one day. But the anxiety around it was surrounded by now.
Yeah.
It was surrounded by looking at the news and school shootings and just thinking, how could somebody go shoot some kids and everything like that? And then the anxiety of dropping my daughter off, even though I know, you know, we cover it, I pray, you know what I'm saying, positive mindset and everything. But the reality is that how do I, or can I even protect her from, I can't protect her from her own journey. So she has to go to school. One day my daughter's probably gonna get into with somebody, there's gonna be a fight. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
one day somebody gonna say something to her that's gonna make me want to crash out. But she has to have her own life and her own journey and her own path and grow to be the person that she's going to be. But that doesn't stop me from still getting anxiety of wanting to, I want to be overprotective because I know that causes problems too, but still wanting to protect her from everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in that session, it was more so of me just ranting, because at the end of it, the therapist was like, you have to understand that just like you have your life, and as you grow older, like, you start to do stuff that your parents don't want you to do. Don't go there. That's not safe. I'm going.
Yeah.
Because it's me and I'm grown at 13 or 14. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, that's just a reality that hit me. It's like, okay, you got the beautiful kind of honeymoon phase where you're holding the baby in your hands and everything like that. But then you have to start to release and trust.
Yeah.
So the first day, it's like the first day of dropping her at school, she really looked back like, oh, for real? You finna drop?
Leave me?
And I'm just like, yo, I signed up for this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna do it. Right? And it is like, but then by day 4, when she's having fun without you,
Bye.
bye, daddy.
Bye.
Leave me alone. I got friends.
Yeah.
I got my own life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At first, it's kind of like this selfish place of, you know what I mean, where you've been. But then it just brings it all back full circle and just fulfillment. I'm so fulfilled that, like, she puts on her own book bag. She opens her own book bag, closes her own book bag, opens the locker, pours her own water, all this. I'm just like, this is crazy. This is what I will say, and I'm just being real. This is why people mess around and have 10, 20 kids, because it can be addictive.
Yeah.
That process reliving that process over and over and over and over again can be addictive.
Yes.
Because you kind of yearn for those first initial moments, but then it's also kind of like, hey, I got to give myself a little credit. Like, I helped raise this human being that's off in the world being independent. So I just want to throw that out there.
So I want to go back to your therapy session. Like, how did you draw that awareness that it was necessary? Mm-hmm. And then 2, in the aftermath of the session, what did it do for you?
So I think that a lot of it, honestly, was just me, like, remembering my first fight in school. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it was really centered around me, and she kind of identified that. She was like, you know that the life of a little girl is going to be really different from the life of a little boy.
Yeah.
Some of these anxieties that you're having probably would be better surrounded around a little boy. She's going to have a whole different path that her mother will probably be a little more equipped in certain ways to deal with. Yeah. You dig what I'm saying? At the end of it, my therapist is like real no nonsense, so she gets to it. I need that. Some therapists kind of lay it on you, know, little by little. No, she gonna tell you what it is. Like, you tripping. You tripping. Like, that's just what it is. You tripping. And I was just like, it's not that. It's just that, again, the anxiety of watching and seeing stuff on TV, like I said, the school shootings. I still haven't wrapped myself around the bullying thing. It hasn't happened. I hope that it doesn't, but it's kind of like, how do I deal with, so I can't put my hands on nobody's kids, right? We ain't in the 60s
even though you
more,
want to.
Right? But then you got to deal with parents, and you might get nonchalant parents, and then, the parents still gonna say, this is my kid, they can do no wrong.
Yeah.
These are the complexities of right now, like I said, with the pre-K thing and the K and all that stuff, like, that's one thing, but as they get their own personalities and develop minds and you know what I'm saying? The real school, like, I have anxiety about that.
Yeah.
But until that time comes, I will diligently pray and meditate to become a bigger energy version of myself, so I don't crash out. That's my rant.
So what has understanding that process of just like
nothing. Nothing. I'm still gonna crash.
What has it done for your trust, like in a spiritual sense, becoming a father? How has it changed the way that you trust the world?
I'm working on that.
Okay. That's honest, though. That's honest.
I'm not a very trusting person. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
That's not like, that's just not me.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's fair just to say, okay, this is my personality, deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to grow, and I think that we should all grow. But it's like, think about what you're asking now.
Yeah.
You're asking us to trust the world.
Yes.
This world.
Yes.
It might be a little different. It's on the islands or something like that, or in Africa or something. But you're asking us to trust this society where they just said some little kid brought THC gummies to school and another, you know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
And then you got all this fentanyl. And again, I don't want to be Debbie Downer to just, because there's a lot of positive things that you should think about, like the interaction amongst my daughter and other kids and how they play together, and they're from different, you know what I'm saying, backgrounds and nationalities and all stuff. That's the beauty of it. They go out on the trail, they go on field trips and all that. That's what matters the most. However, the way that I'm wired and my upbringing and just the way that my mind and my spirit is wired, I can't help but think about what my therapist calls automatic negative thoughts. Ants. That's what they're called, ants, right? And those ants be crawling sometimes.
Yes.
They just be crawling. But the spiritual part of prayer above everything knows that she's going to be okay. I do trust, because I trust God. But I can't say I trust the world.
Okay. So basically, in trusting your higher power, your higher self, your higher energy, the power of your manifestation and your prayers, you're able to find some type of peace
I have no choice.
and trusting her with the world.
I have no choice.
Okay, cool. So, what advice would you give? Because we know fathers are usually the protectors. What advice do you have? Just 3 key points for fathers who are in that same vicinity of thought. Like, what should they do? What do you practice?
You don't have control. You don't have control. I cannot control any human being on the face of this earth.
Even your children.
You do not have control. Even your children. You don't have control. Now you're gonna stop them from running out in the street and doing dumb stuff, right?
Yeah.
But there's gonna come a time where I'm gonna say something, and she's gonna say I don't agree.
Yeah.
And I want to do it my way.
Yeah.
And she's probably gonna be dead wrong because I did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where are you going? I'm going to the club to go DJ. Tell me the club they be shooting people at it up. I'm going to the club to go DJ.
Yeah.
Somebody got shot last week. I don't care nothing about that.
Yeah.
This is what I love. And then when I'm in there DJing, you hear pop, 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 and I start ducking. I'm like, my mama was right. I should have stayed my ass at home. You know what I'm saying? But you got to go through it. And I just pray that, I pray for, my daughter. I pray for all of us who have kids.
Yes.
I pray for everybody kids that they're just able to grow and live.
Yeah.
That's all I want for kids.
Yeah.
Grow and live. In talking to, young brothers when I go and just kind of like talk to them, like, one brother made a comment, man, I make 23, I did good. I live, I'm good. I can check out after that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Your brain don't even work till 30.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? I just want people to live, you know what I'm saying, and experience the different phases of life. Your kid phase, then there's like your teenage adolescent phase. That's one phase. Then there's a whole life in your 20s. Then there's a whole different movie in your 30s.
Yeah.
And boy, I can tell you, these 40s is the most intricate movie plot you ever see. It's a whole different thing. Like, and then God willing, there's 50s and 60s. Like, you got plenty of life to live. So, that's my thing. I never want to stop my seed from living and experiencing, because when you handicap or you're too overprotective, and obviously, I always say this, like when I went to Tuskegee, when I went to college, I was like, yo, a lot of these guys, they can't kill a roach.
Yeah.
They don't know how to, like, they don't know how to survive. Like, what we gonna eat? I'm like, we got crackers, we got ramen noodles, we gonna figure it out.
We gonna figure it out.
I don't know where y'all come from, but I come from a different place where we gonna put together a meal and figure it out without calling mama and daddy. That's what it was about. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the whole overall thing, for your seed to live and experience, and for that seed to sprout into a beautiful flower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my goal. So that keeps me calm.
Yeah.
But I still don't trust.
Say that. I'll be honest too, even thinking about it. So like, I got my pops. He came in my life when I was 10. So my real father, he was killed when I was 3.5. And so when I became a mother, that was the thing I hadn't had to overcome emotionally too, is the thought, would I live to see my children grow? Like, I never wanted to, and that's a big prayer with my daughter.
That's a lot to deal with.
That was a big prayer, and I really had to learn to heal from that trauma in order for it to not be a trigger, as I was appreciating the life my kids were already living. And like, like I said, you have your thoughts sometimes where you're like, oh man, God, just allow me to live to see another day, to be here, to support.
That's all you can do.
And like going back to what you said, like you can't control.
You can't control it. Nobody. You just can't control nothing.
You can't control time. The only thing that you have semi-control over is the way you show up.
Yeah, you're right.
The way you rise to the occasion. And so for me, it's like I've even learned, and I think it really sunk in too when I had my son too, to just like do my best to be present. Whatever time is handed and given, like it's not like that whole that thing with the sand where you're running out of time. Like, not to have that mentality, but more so to just be open.
Be present in the now.
Yes, like let me just be open to these moments. Let me make sure that it's substantial now. And so whatever I'm presenting, I was listening to this Nipsey Hussle compilation of like
I
just
checked it
positive
out. Yeah,
affirmations.
yeah,
Yes, very good, might I
yeah,
say.
yeah.
But he was just talking about his experience with his daughter. And then I think about it, from in that moment he had no idea he would be where he is now. That he would reach and meet his maker at the time period he did. But I love the perspective of he was planting the seed.
Yeah.
Just because you plant a seed does not mean that you will always be the one to water it. Sometimes other life experiences and things that your kids, the people around you, I've gotten so much peace just understanding it's not always my responsibility to control when the flower blooms. My only responsibility is to plant the seed. And it's up to God, it's up to their process, it's up to what their destiny is to determine, is it fertile soil that I'm planting it in, Are they in a space to where they can irrigate it and bring water to it for it to grow, That's not my responsibility. My only due diligence is in planting the seed. And to the people, and whether it's my children, my family members, friends, whatever, that I'm able to plant the seed, water it, and have the opportunity to watch it grow, that's the stuff that really creates substance and core memories in your life. So that's kind of where I've gotten peace with my process too. Even with me, the way I show up, I'll be like, you know what? I cannot control the outcome.
Can't control the outcome.
Cannot control the outcome.
You do your best, but you can still you can do everything to prepare for that hurricane, and it's still your house away.
And it should, yes. But what do you control? You control how you show up before. You control the work you put in before and the work you put in after. If a storm does hit, And so, yeah, I'm very grateful to motherhood for what it's taught me about myself. I'm very, very grateful to it.
So, what would you say to a father? Because we've kind of got your perspective on talking to mothers.
Yeah.
Well, let's flip it
flip
around.
It. Okay, cool.
Like, what would you say
for
to
fathers?
A father?
I would say that you're heard, you're seen, you're loved, you're appreciated.
Not always.
Not always, but from me to you,
from
big energy to you.
Yes, okay.
This is what we're doing.
Clear, right,
yeah, let's make that clear.
Right.
If you have not felt that way, if you're absent of these affirmations to yourself, like you're valuable, you're seen, you're heard, you're felt, and we appreciate you for showing up and doing your best, whatever that is that you have to give. And from me to you, I pray that you're able to find substance within yourself, and that you're able to make peace with the things that may be hurting you, that you're able to find the safe places and people in order to be able to be a better father, be a better person, be a better man. I just pray for peace. I think a lot of times in the men that I've talked to, that's what they're absent of, is that appreciation. And appreciation isn't always saying like you're doing everything perfect, but I just appreciate you rising to the occasion. I appreciate you showing up here in this place and in this space and doing your best.
Showing up for the party.
Come on now. I appreciate you figuring it out.
Whether you dance or not.
Come on now. At least you showed up to the party. Eventually you will have something to dance about. But I think a lot of times, like, we do our due diligence, and even hearing you initially, you gave the salute to the women, but I think as women, we got to start kind of pouring that back into our men, because a lot of times what's given can be given. And so if you're giving a man appreciation and telling him, hey, like, you're doing your best, like, you're rising to the occasion, like, and we think that we're absent of that from them, but it's because oftentimes, like, they don't even have it to give to themselves. Sometimes you got to pour into people's cup, man. I'm telling you, it goes a long way. I started living my life like that, man, and it's amazing. It's amazing how people come back and you never realize what you're saying to a person. And even people who are going to watch this and hear this, like, it's going to do something for them. I pray that and I manifest that, because people just need to feel that love, that big energy, They just need to feel it.
I got like a list, and so I got a gratitude journal, but I do a lot of writing. Yeah. And I got a list of like non-selfish wishes per se. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, there's my gratitude of what I want. I want this, I want that. I would like this for my family and so forth, and the people that I got love for.
Yeah.
But like on that list, there's not a lot of things in that list. The first thing I put up is like world peace. Might not ever happen.
Yeah.
I just put it up.
You putting it out there.
But I bring this up in a lot of like podcasts and radio interviews, and I bring it up because maybe miraculously one day someone will have the answer. But I really wish there was a way, there could be a way to heal the divide between black women and black men.
Mm.
Because if there's ever a way to heal that divide, and we're not talking about to the level of perfection, you know what I'm saying? I just think it's tipped like, as an 80s baby, back then it was kind of like, all right, cool, there's some divide between black men and black women. Then we kind of shifted into the 90s and it was a little more, you know what I'm saying? Like, these B's ain't ish, these N's ain't ish, you know what I'm saying? And then by the time I got to college, and I was probably on the crash out too, just listening to listening to rap music. Then we all just got like, you better not trust no woman. Don't trust no woman, and all this other stuff. And then the same thing is like, don't trust no dude. You know what I'm saying? And then the music was the soundtrack to all that. And then maybe I'm getting a little older, but now it just seems critical. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of black love. There's a lot of people that are together and that support each other and so forth. But I just wish that there was a way to heal that. And I think the only way to heal it is to be the person that can show compassion for, like, have you ever thought about, sit down and think about, I got two sisters, right? Mm-hmm. Sit back and think about, and my mom was part of my life as well, you know, my father and mother, but it's kind of like, have you ever thought about what a black woman got to go through? Let alone just being a woman, being a black woman, have you ever thought about what they have to go through? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing on the other side for a black woman. Yeah. Have you ever thought about, like, not saying that it's not bad for you? Yeah. But if I look at my rear view and I see police, it's different for me. Yeah. It's completely different. Yeah. The ant's gonna come. I don't care how much therapy I done, how much I done talked about it. The police is back behind me running my plate. I ain't even did nothing. Yeah. I ain't even got nothing going on. But if I get pulled over, who knows? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So it's just understanding that, like, as a black woman, appreciating a black woman that brought life into this world. You understand what I'm saying? Appreciate a black woman who may have had to go through the trauma of being picked on or whatever through school, whatever the case is. Like, there's so many just different traumas. And that's one of my non-selfish wishes, that I wish that the cool thing would be, and we see it, we uplift each other as kings and queens. Facts. We see it, right? But one of my non-selfish wishes is that let's heal the divide between black women and black men. Because maybe I'm just paying too much attention to what's going on, but
you're living it. You're living it. You're living in a part of it. And to experience, I know from you, you know, with just like, you guys have a comfortable union. And so to understand the value that's had behind that, it does make you, when you're an unselfish person, it does make you want to have people who can experience that. Not to just be like, you know, F my baby daddy or F my baby mama.
And that's my survey to everybody in here. What's the last song you heard recently where a black man is uplifting a black woman or a black woman is uplifting a black man? Yeah. Lunch on me.
Y'all heard it. Drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments.
Y'all. Is there one this year? Is there one this year?
We're gonna start it. But let us manifest this though. These are the type of things and topics we're gonna manifest that we're going to be, a pivotal point in an outlet to bridge that gap. Because a lot of times it starts with you. And so a lot of people just need to heal themselves, and so that they can be aware in how they show up for other people and how other people are showing up for them, to be aware of the traumas and triggers that another person may have. And then, you know, from a systematic approach, that's what the system was designed to do back when you said it was doing what it was doing. Right. And so we, as a community, and not just for black people, but we're going to say for everybody, we need to bridge the divide. You know, a lot of times you have to think systematically. If cops and, you know, prisons and everything are filled up with black men, you taking the head of the household. Yeah. And so now you're forcing upon black women or whoever to be in a capacity where they're being mom and they're being dad, which is going to come with emotion, stress, resentment, all of those things. And so then you get on TV, you listen to the music. That's what they're pushing. You have the men who are over-sexualizing women to a woman who's already feeling underappreciated. Now her mantra is, all you want is the booty. You know what I mean? To a man, he's not even kicked. He might just be vibing. That might not even be his principle or how he was raised. But that's what social media gonna push.
Mm.
They not gonna push, Anthony Hamilton who's talking about, I can't let go, and not saying he's the only one, but you get where I'm going with it. And so that's what the system was structured to do. And so as we're fighting against these systematic things that have been placed into our infrastructure, we have to become aware of that.
Awareness.
Think about it now. What we saying? Sexy red. Nothing's not saying we
not
don't be vibing, y'all. Because listen,
right.
We ain't knocking nobody. But you looking at be like, F my baby daddy, F my baby daddy. But it's women out here who really feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we capitalizing off of the culture.
Fly is aggressive. Sorry.
Come on now. But we gotta understand, at the end of the day, bro, like, our contribution has to be showing up in the world to change ourselves. And one thing my pops always tells me is when you change, everything around you changes. And so as a big energy unit, I can concur that we hope to bridge that gap by just showing you how to show up for yourself, to love on yourself, to heal yourself, to be better in this world. And then hopefully and consequently of that action and you showing up and rising to your higher self, everything around you will rise as well.
I think that's a great way to conclude
the
inaugural episode of the Big Energy Room. You got any final
Thanks for showing
words?
up, y'all. We just appreciate y'all watching. We look forward to breaking into this dialogue and having these type of candid conversations. You see, we just cool. We just vibing, y'all. We want y'all to vibe with us on a higher frequency.
Do the promo thing now. Follow
look, Big Energy brand on the merch. Y'all see us. We're going to have a whole lot more of that. Big Kayla Inc. on IG and all social medias. And then we got Big Energy Room for the podcast, y'all. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure y'all subscribe and get ready for a whole lot of love.
There it is. Follow DJ Scream. Follow the Big Facts Network. Until the next Big Energy Room, everybody be blessed out there.
Yeah,
salute to you. Love.
This is a Big Facts Network exclusive.